Hey, film sets. What's up? It's a culture detective here, investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to be doing an album review on the new Algiers album, Shook. So, Algiers, American rock band, is back with a new album, Shook. This is their fourth album, I believe. And I have been following this band for quite some time now already. In fact, at some point in my life, this band is one of the most interesting, exciting things to ever come out of rock music and post punk for me. This band is literally one of the reasons why I got into post punk and why post punk became one of my favorite genres of all times. We have their self titled album, which is very brooding and dark. It's a very smart and beautiful blend of post-punk and spiritual and soul tracks like Blood, Irony, Utility, Pretext, and one of my absolute freaking favorites, Black Eunuch, is are fantastic tracks. They really pump out your blood. They really make you sit on the edge of your seats while you listen to the music, and it's fantastic. Of course, we have the amazing The Underside of Power, the first album I heard from them. All the way back in the year 2017, when I was only 14 years old, I listened to this album, and oh my god, it's up there with King Giz and Proto Martyr and Car Seat Headrest as the first few bands that really made me change the way I listen to music. Especially the title track, The Underside of Power, still remains to be one of my favorite songs of all times, full stop. Now, they did a bit of a nosedive in the year 2020 when they released There Is No Year, which is a beautifully dystopian album. It's just that instrumentally it's a lot blander, a lot drabber. They are beginning to stray away from their rock sounds, despite having an amazing drummer, Matt Tong of Block Party fame, in their band. They resulted to using sequence beats a lot of times, making the tracks a lot less energetic or exciting. So we really don't know what direction will the band go next until their new released Shook. So needless to say, the band is moving on for an even more electronic direction on this album, but this time I think they are improving it a lot better because there's a lot more focus, there's a lot more consistency and creativity going on this album. We also have some pretty crazy features on this album as well, which I'm really excited for. The album opener, Everybody Shatter, starts off with some field recording noise, then we have a very hard-hitting sequence beat. The frontman of the band, Franklin James Fisher, hops onto the track very majestically and starts singing about how history repeats itself, getting arrested in the 1960s and getting arrested in the 2020s, literally nowadays, won't really result in too much of a difference. At least that's how I speculate the lyrics to be. This track gets noisier and more energetic and poppier at the end, which is really exciting and fun. It's like Michael Jackson gone dark and political, and it sounds really cool. The second track, Irreversible Damage, is another really great track in my opinion, with the speedy pumping keyboards, the aggressive hard trap beats, the distorted shrieky guitars. It creates a messy, dusty environment for Franklin James Fisher to perform a really anxiety-inducing hook. And then out of nowhere, Zach De La Rocha, or Rocca, from Rage Against the Machine hops on, and I mean, given the type of music Algiers is making, it's only a matter of time until they collaborate with Rage Against the Machine. But this is amazing. Zach De La Rocha and Franklin James Fisher have amazing chemistry, so there's that. The following track is 73%, and me not being well versed enough in American politics, don't really know what 73% means. I did a little research and I think it's related to Medicare and American healthcare. That's true. Like if I get injured right now, I probably won't be afford to see a doctor or receive care, especially given that I'm not an American citizen, and I've heard nothing but terrible things about American healthcare. and it shows on this track with the skippy guitars and rhythms, Franklin James Fisher rambling on top, ranting about the topic, and it just gets really tight and powerful at the end, which I really love. Then it is followed with a couple interludes, Cleanse Your Guilt here with the faint vocal lines and the muffled soul samples, and then a dystopian spoken word track that basically builds up to the next track as it resounds. And the next track in question is Bite Back with the futuristic keyboards, instrumentals, and also a very surprising and an unlikely feature, or not unlikely, but unexpected. Billy Woods comes in with the eclectic abstract rap with great flows and great thought-provoking lyrics, and then the track bookended with Bax Wash coming in with her aggressive flows and the screams and the yells. It's a very interesting balance of different styles, and the lyrics range from societal over-prescription and alt-right politics. After that, we have Out of Style Tragedy, which is another dystopian spoken word track. This time is 3 minutes long, and we have mentions of Hollywood, McDonald's, South California. I get it, man. I'm living in hell right now. And that is followed with A Good Man, which is a straightforward rager, a barn burner with wild guitars. That being said, though, this track is kind of one note, and it's kind of the same reason why There Is No Year didn't really work for me. It's just kind of one-dimensional at times. The following track, I Can't Stand It, while it's a bit of a slow burn in comparison with other Algiers tracks, I think this is a very great follow-up. Algiers really goes back to their soul and spiritual roots on this track with a sequence beats, and also the track ends off with an eerie drone, which is just beautiful. Green Iris is even more rustic and spiritual with jazzy pianos and gospel-esque vocal harmonies. This track is both soft and off-kiltered. Cold World is a slow, moody track with chopped up sounds and horns. But what's surprising is that the band has invited an Egyptian singer to sing in Arabic in the middle parts of the track, which adds a very interesting flavor. That is followed with Something Wrong, which is a long, drony, ambient-ish track with bomb sirens, droning beats. It's noisy, it's dissonant. It's nothing all that special, in my opinion. I've heard noisy tracks that do a better job, but it's still interesting to hear Algiers go to this direction. Then we have an Ecophonic sound, which is another experimental drony track, but this time we are hit with the horns, which are really depressing and lonesome. It sounds like the kind of horn section you would hear in a funeral or something, like a funeral marching band. Then the album ends off with Momentary, where Franklin James Fisher once again goes to his spiritual roots. And lyrically, I speculate that he's singing about the African American experience, especially with lines like, "Who watched or walked through cotton-rich, swamp-sick streets clamoring for freedom." Yeah, pretty vivid and powerful and moving lyrics, and also really well read as well. So yeah, the new Algiers album is, in my opinion, a lot better than There Is No Year. It doesn't soar as high as their first two albums, in my opinion, so I would like to see more of that. But still, this is a really solid album, and I am feeling a light 7 out of 10. So, have you listened to the new Algiers album? Comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching.